Hello friends, welcome to Mysterious Stories. Friends, this was the date of July 15, 1976. There was a school in America called Dairyland Elementary School. The American city of Chowchilla was home to this school. The children were traveling to a swimming pool on the school's bus. The day was July. After attending summer lessons, 26 school children were heading to the pool for a swim. The bus driver's name was Frank Edward. Frank had been employed at the same school for a long time and was 55 years old. These 26 kids, friends, they were thrilled at the prospect of bathing in the pool this summer, but they had no idea what would happen to them in the near future. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, friends, and the bus was passing on an empty road. A van abruptly pulled up in front of the bus from behind, halted, and blocked the bus's path. Frank, the bus's driver, was taken aback by what was taking place. 3 friends emerged from this van. Their faces were hidden. Each of the 3 was armed. These individuals got into the bus and aimed their weapons toward the kids. This bus had been hijacked, friends. Because of these hijackers, one of these men instructed Frank, the bus driver, to drive the bus behind our van. The bus was behind the van when it began to move. This van was traveling in the direction of Banada. Along the Chowchilla River, it was a pond that was a river. Here was another van of similar high courts. The bus driver was contacted. They removed Frank and 26 children from the bus. All of them were forced to sit in his 2 vans. These vans were large and specifically designed for this use. These vans had black paint on their windows. The children's voices could not be heard because this van was soundproof. Friends were unable to leave. The van drove another 180 kilometers and eventually arrived at Livermore. These hijackers had a shelter below earth. These kids were brought to this bunker. In reality, friends, this bunker was a huge truck trailer. It was pressed underground to create a bunker. This bunker included all the necessities, including food, water, ventilation, and everything else. Additionally, a bathroom was constructed here, complete with mattresses for the kids to sleep on. These hijackers have no idea when they started. These hijackers intended to abduct the kids, friends. They sent the kids inside, then used a large metal object to seal the bunker. In order to prevent the kids from leaving, they additionally positioned hefty batteries on top of this metal object. Each child's name and age were recorded by the hijackers on a page before they then departed. Despite their fear, friends, the bus driver, and the 26 kids inside the bunker lacked the bravery. These individuals were now preparing to how can I leave? They gathered every mattress that was there, stacked them on top of one another, and eventually arrived at the bunker's roof. Friends, they had spent 16 hours in this bunker during this period. From here, those hijackers had departed. These kids were taken. They were getting ready to request tawa in return. These hijackers were mistaken in their belief that the kids would be unable to depart from here. After 16 hours of non-stop work, the kids and the bus driver made it to the bunker's roof and began attempting to remove the metal sheet. Friends, everyone managed to escape. Now, the location of this bunker was actually an office called California Rock and Gravel Quarry, where cement, stones, and other items were sold. It was an enormous space. From then, the schoolchildren and the bus driver hurried out and told everyone their entire story. Friends, the cops arrived there in a matter of minutes. Who were the hijackers and why did they abduct these schoolchildren? The police were now looking for them. In contrast, friends, the kidnappers intended to demand a ransom of $50 lakh in return for the children. Today, that amounts to $2.5 crore. They kept the kids in that bunker since it was so much. They said they would return tomorrow to request the money, but these kids had already left when they closed it and went to sleep. Initially, the proprietor of California Rock and Gravel Quarry, where this bunker was situated, was taken into custody by the authorities. Frederick Nickerson was the individual. He informed the police that his son, Frederick Newhall, was in charge of running this establishment. His age was 24. This boy was taken into custody by the police right away. The keys to this place belonged to him. Additionally, the investigators learned that Frederick was the first. His family was extremely wealthy, so this boy had plenty of money, but he had been in bad company. Frederick and his two buddies, Richard and James, had devised this idea. These two brothers were also involved. They had one or two additional employees in addition to these three. Frederick's home was also raided by the authorities. His home was located on 78 acres of land. In his room, the officers found a gun. He used a number of retrieved maps, forged identification documents, and other items to create this scheme. Here, a diary was used to record every element of the plan. Friends, he had a pretty odd strategy. In return for the children, he had demanded a substantial sum of money. I informed them that today, $50 lakh is equal to $2.5 crore. They thought that the police would transport them to a mountain region in the Santa Cruz Mountains by ship at night, and they would flee with the money, but their plan was a complete failure. Within a week, those two brothers had been taken into custody by the police. Friends, it was discovered that although those two brothers were likewise extremely wealthy, the three of them were deeply indebted and engaged in gambling and other activities. These three devised a plot to abduct the children when their families ceased providing them with financial support. All three of them received life sentences. Richard was the first of these three to be released from prison in 2012, having served over 36 years. His brother followed suit in 2015, but Frederick, whose land the bunker was constructed on, was not. He was likewise released from prison on parole in 2022, but he had been incarcerated all of his life.